So you can see that there is no much structural difference between the data given as well as the not much difference compared to the robust scalar, which is important, right? So in a data set, we don't want to completely remove the structure of the data. That means the entire data is behaving very differently if you use remove the structure. That is what is happening in the quantile transformation. You can see everything's become like a uniform distribution, not even normal distribution, it's like uniform distribution. So the structure of the data is completely gone. Hello everyone. In this episode, we will be discussing how to identify the outliers and handle them in our dataset. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the dataset in the library called seaborn. Seaborn is one of the data library used for charting, plotting, and also deal with some of the statistical analysis as well. In this one, we have a dataset called tips. So we are going to load the tips dataset into our data frame. So there is a very important function of pandas. It's called info. So when you run info, it will give you the information of all the data columns in the data frame. So we can see there are seven data columns, and what is the data type and how many entries are there in each one of them, any null values are there, all the information, and what is the size this particular data frame is taking in the memory, everything is given. There is another important function called describe. Describe will give you the statistical information of the numerical columns of our dataset. So there are three numerical columns. One is the total bill, tip, and size. So these are all the three numerical values, and we can see all of them have 244. There is no null values, and you are getting the mean, which is the average value of each and every column. What is the standard deviation, and what is the minimum value in this one, and what is the maximum value in this particular column, and what are the three quartiles. So in the previous episode, we have discussed about the quartile 1, which is nothing but 25%, quartile 3, which is 75%, and this is the median, also called as quartile 2, also 50% quartile. So all this information is provided by the describe function. So let us try to focus on this particular column called tips in this particular episode to understand the outliers. So if you plot the histogram by using hist function, this is another useful function of data frame, pandas data frame. You can just put hist, it will print the histogram. So you can see most of the data is concentrated between 1 to 6, actually 5, and rest are all having smaller numbers. Some of them could be outliers as well. And now we will see another function called Sms Box Plot. We are plotting the tip for each and every day: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. These are the 4 days in the data set, and every day how many tips people are getting, the waiters are getting. That is the whole concept of this particular tips data set. So you can see Thursday there are outliers are there, a couple of outliers, and Saturday lot of outliers are there. So we are seeing some of the people on Saturday, they are very happy, they are giving a lot of tips, but Fridays and Sundays not much. Right, now what we are going to do, we understood in the previous episode, there is something called as a robust scalar, which will transform the data set into a particular scalar. It will centralize the data to 0 and also try to reduce the standard deviation, and it will keep the standard deviation to something near to 1. So we are going to do that robust scalar. Another scalar we are going to use that is called as Quantile Transformer. What it will do is it will completely reduce the outliers. It will put even the outliers within the range. So both of them we are executing in this particular cell, and let us try to describe and see how our data is transformed. So you can see tip 1 and tip 2, this is based on the robust scalar, and tip 2 is based on the quantile transformation. So what we can observe is in this tip 1, which is the robust scalar, the standard deviation has been reduced. The standard deviation of the tip column was 1.3, it has been reduced to 0.8. In tip 2, it is still reduced to 0.2. So that means it is squeezed the data between the minimum and maximum value. You can also see the minimum and maximum values here. So tip 1 minus 1.2, maximum 4.5. So it used to be minimum was 2.9, maximum was 10, and it has been reduced to minus 1.1. 1 to 10, and this is minus 1.2 to 4.5. That is a range. Here in tip 2, always it will become 0 as the minimum, 1 is the maximum. That is what everything is squeezed between 0 and 1, very similar to min-max scalar. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to plot these three data set, tip 1 and tip 2, these three columns into box plot, and try to understand a little more details and how the outliers are taken care of. So this is our normal, that is a tip given by the data set. This is tip 1, which is done the robust scaling. You might see both are not having any difference because we have outliers here, we have outliers here, but if you see the ranges, this is from 1 to 10, this is minus 1 to 4.5 or 5. So this is actually reduced. You can not see in the chart, but in the standard deviation it is definitely reduced. But this is the quantile transformation. You can see completely outliers are removed. This is another way of handling. So what is the advantages of using a robust transformation and quantile transformation? That we can understand by plotting the histograms. So in this particular cell, we are going to plot the histograms of tip 1 and tip 2. So you can see that there is no much structural difference between the data given as well as the not much difference compared to the robust scalar, which is important, right? So in a data set, we don't want to completely remove the structure of the data. That means the entire data is behaving very differently if you remove this structure. That is what is happening in the quantile transformation. You can see everything's become like a uniform distribution, not even normal distribution, it's like a uniform distribution. So the structure of the data is completely gone. So the prediction which we do based on this particular data might be completely different compared to their original data. So that could be the problem. Anyway, but if you completely want to remove the outliers but still do not delete the rows, you can use the quantile transformation. If you want to reduce the impact of the outliers, you can use the robust transformation. This is the normal data set. This is the overall idea about the outliers and how we handle the outliers. Thank you for watching. We will see in the next episode. In the next episode, we'll be focusing mostly on more visualization and exploratory data analysis. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.